Something major is potentially going on right now with Bayley, so we'll see those hints. We'll also take a look at what's new for Jade Cargill, Kiana James, and more. Starting things off with Bayley, because this is a bit concerning regarding her new character and direction there on Raw. So ever since getting involved in the Women's Intercontinental Championship match at SummerSlam, Bayley's character has displayed a lot of mental and internal struggles. At SummerSlam itself, it looks like Bayley came out there with the intentions of attacking Becky Lynch. But once Bayley was actually out there at ringside, she heavily considered attacking Lyra and had a little internal battle there put on display. And that appeared to be the official beginning of this apparent downfall of Bayley's mental health. Then in the weeks after that, we saw this series of interviews with Bayley where we got a peek inside of her head, and she was apparently hearing voices from all of her prior personas. So that really set the foundation that Bayley was about to possibly take on this new character that had multiple personalities. We saw Bayley return, and for a few weeks there after her return, her multiple personalities were constantly displayed, and there was at least one moment every week that fully showcased her new character and kept that story going. Things were going in that direction until the October 27th edition of Raw. This episode of Raw featured Bayley and Lyra going up against Charlotte and Alexa Bliss for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. It was a great match that even main evented Monday Night Raw, but there was one missing part of this main event matchup that went a little unnoticed by some fans. And that was the fact that for the first time since this new gimmick was introduced by Bayley, it was not showcased at all on this week's Raw. Usually with a character change or an ongoing storyline, you get a little piece of the story, a little piece of the puzzle constantly every single week. So when a story or character direction is suddenly absent from WWE television without any explanation for an extended amount of time, it causes fans to worry if that specific thing in question has been dropped and scrapped. And that's sort of where this conversation is headed to right now for when it comes to Bayley's split personalities gimmick. We haven't seen Bayley's split personalities showcased in several weeks on Raw, and that's a bit concerning considering how heavy they were pushing that story and that character direction just a few weeks ago. So now for her fans, they're wondering if WWE quietly gave up on Bayley's split personalities gimmick and just dropped it out of nowhere. Split personality characters have a lot of potential, but they are hard to pull off and require the right execution and the right writing in order for it to be a success. So there was potential there for what they were hinting at for Bayley. The idea of seeing Bayley transition from her hugger self to her normal self to her heel self is a bit intriguing premise. And for what we saw, Bayley was doing a phenomenal job with what she was being given to work with. She was changing personas on the fly and really showcasing the different personalities. But the story and details supporting the gimmick was the weak spot. Fans were critical in recent weeks of Bayley's new gimmick. They weren't big fans of it. There wasn't too much to it, besides Bayley getting smacked and turning more aggressive because of this smack. That's basically all we saw from this gimmick when it was last showcased on television. So with Bayley's character no longer showcasing any signs at all of having multiple personalities, that's what's making fans wonder if this whole story and direction for her was dropped. There's been several successful WWE characters with split personalities in recent memory, the biggest one probably being Bray Wyatt and Kane. Kane had a very popular storyline over 10 years ago that featured him changing personalities from corporate Kane to the monster Kane. The act worked really well because there was such a visible difference between Kane's two personalities. Likewise for Bray Wyatt, you had the Funhouse Bray, who was completely unrecognizable to the Fiend Bray Wyatt. So maybe that's what the issue is here, and that's what's missing for Bayley. Bayley has 2 or 3 personalities she's switching back and forth from, but there's no visible difference the audience can actually see. It's Bayley's same music, same appearance, same presentation, and nothing really changes when she switches personalities because she's just holding her head for a few seconds. If she was coming out to the hugger music, wearing her old hugger ponytail, and just visibly showing the differences between her personas like Kane and Bray did, then maybe it could have got some more fans properly invested in the direction. So that's the fan conversation that's happening right now. It looks like Bayley's multiple personalities gimmick might have been dropped since nothing has happened for that story in over 2 weeks. It looks like instead of fully going down the split personality route, they may have Bayley just teaming with Lyra for a bit, and then just have Bayley normally turn heel on Lyra. And maybe when Bayley turns heel on Lyra, that's when the evil and aggressive personalities she's been fighting over the last few months will fully break through and take over. No split personalities. Bayley would just fully be evil from that moment on. So that's something to really keep an eye on. Will they revive Bayley's new gimmick over the next few weeks here on Raw, or has it been quietly dropped after all? We'll have to keep our eyes for answers on Raw. Fans have brought up a really good question that could reconnect to something we saw a few months back. Back in the summertime, Kiana James had approached Jade Cargill about Jade potentially becoming her newest client. Kiana pointed out all the success she has been bringing Julia's way since Julia became a client, and she vowed to do the same for Jade Cargill and help Jade become the WWE Women's Champion. At the time, Jade Cargill was an honorable babyface that wanted to do things the right way, so Jade Cargill gave away Kiana's card and rejected the offer. Kiana James has been trying to get a new client in recent weeks, but still hasn't found anyone yet. So with Jade Cargill fresh off her heel turn, some fans are wondering if Jade Cargill could turn around and now accept Kiana's offer if it's still on the table. Jade Cargill has now seen the light. She's not doing things the honorable way anymore. She's a heel. She's playing dirty and doing whatever it takes to get that WWE Women's title. So could Jade Cargill link up now with Kiana James after all? If Kiana is able to land Jade Cargill as a new client, that instantly boosts Kiana's status and makes that faction an instant big threat in the women's division. Kiana James would have the Women's United States Champion and the WWE Women's Champion as her two top clients. Also, not to mention that Kiana herself is a double threat. She manages, but she also wrestles. So you have Kiana, Julia, and Jade really ready to take everyone on as a newly formed trio. It would be nice to have a dominant faction in the women's division again. We haven't really seen that since the peak days of Damage Control. So for this trio to get together and instantly have two champions inside their faction, that gives them an instant great start and puts them on the map in a big way. Kiana James can be the main mouthpiece for the group, while Julia continues her reign as United States Champion, and Jade morphs into an even bigger main event star as the WWE Women's Champion, and also as the brutal heel enforcer for that trio. So it's something that fans are just having fun with and discussing right now, but it would be a pretty insane trio to put together, and they could easily run Smackdown together. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.